So, you want to be a better manager, or you're getting feedback that you need to work on your people skills, your EQ, your empathy. Whatever feedback you're giving or however you came here, in the video today, we'll talk about why it's so important to be a people leader when you're a manager. And at the end, one question that you can use that can reframe every occurrence that you have with employees to be a people leader. So empathy is a term that gets tossed around a lot. And sometimes that kind of term, people hear it and they actually puff up. They think, ugh, they bristle. They think that's that soft language. Everyone's looking for a trophy. But empathy as a buzzword means some really practical things. For employees, it means getting a sense of where they are and viewing them as a human. So thinking about this, as a people manager, you have to do all sorts of things. You may have to hire, onboard, give direction to employees, delegate, performance management. At times have to have difficult conversations, things like layoffs, or if you have to end someone's employment. All of that can feel really challenging. And so as people managers, often you may think, I don't know exactly what to say. So you say as little as possible, or you assume they already know what to do or they'll come to me with questions. But the people that are on your team are real human beings. And you may be thinking, okay, I know that, they're my people. We're not all working with robots yet. But what I mean by that is to really reflect on what that's like. Each employee on your team comes to work and you'll never have a full sense of what they're going through in their day-to-day, what kind of personal circumstances, how they feel about their job, whether they're coming worried that they're going to mess up. And those employees also, as they get through the day, they leave and they're going home to themselves, their families, their friends. And so as people, they have so many other things and thoughts going on that you may never directly hear. And so if your job as a manager is a couple things, one, it may be to meet goals or to meet outcomes, to get the work done. But also a critical part of your role as a people manager is to help employees develop within their role, get that work done, do it in the right way, and also developing in their careers. Because each of your employees is a unique individual, it can be hard to think, okay, what do I do in this situation? This person's new. This person, if I give feedback, they're going to start crying. So how can I have that conversation? Maybe I won't say anything. But in each situation, one question that you can ask that can often be helpful is to think, what would I want to have happen if it were me? And I say this in not meaning that you as a manager can't truly empathize, meaning seeing your employees as humans with different things going on in their lives. But at times you may get through and thinking about everything that you have to do, and you, in a way, don't think about them as a unique individual, or that can feel daunting. How do I approach this situation? But in each situation, having that frame and asking, what would I want to have happen to me? So thinking about hiring, if you're interviewing for a role, if someone doesn't think that you're the right candidate, having them let you know so that you're not just hanging on or continuously having to call on your own and follow up. So thinking about that as manager, having that clear communication. As you onboard, making clear the information that you'd want to know. How can managers provide that? What would you want to know if you were a new employee on the team? And those topics like performance management, or if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, or if you have what some may say performance challenges, would you want a manager to say nothing until it came time to your review or when you get put on a formal performance plan? No. Most of us would say, well, have a conversation. Let's figure it out. Because often you may say, well, I didn't get the training I needed, or I wasn't clear on that. That was never explained to me. But all of that is part of the underlying conversation. So as a manager, every time you're going to talk to an employee about something or have one of those difficult conversations, sometimes it's just taking a step back and thinking to yourself, okay, what would I want to have happen if it were me? And often that is having a clear communication, having the opportunity to give your perspective, not just your side, but your perspective, and have that trust built. And so as a manager, you can read tons of books, you can watch tons of videos like this, you can go through all sorts of training, and that training is really important. But sometimes it's those individual tips that can stick with you. And so this tip, having the question, in every instance thinking, what would I want to have happen if it were me, can be the difference between just being a manager that does the day in and day out and truly having those leadership capabilities that create that environment of trust and open communication, where the work can actually get done and in the right way. If this tip is helpful to you, then share the video and subscribe. And in the show notes, you can sign up for the Manager Method Minute. This is my weekly email that has additional tips. And if you're looking for broader, robust manager training, I have a Manager 101 course, including a package that organizations can use to make sure all of their managers get this people leadership training, with a resource guide and even a toolkit to run follow-up sessions to make sure your team becomes the leaders that your employees need.